Hi, I'm Stephanie. Welcome to English Speaking Practice. In this lesson, you can learn about conditional sentences. Conditional sentences are sentences with the word if. You can use conditional sentences to talk about many different situations. There are also sentences which don't use the word if, but which follow similar rules. By the way, do you want English subtitles while watching this video? Click the CC button in the bottom right now to turn on English subtitles if you need them. This is a 5 levels lesson. That means you'll see 5 sections. Each section will give you a challenge. Each section is more difficult than the previous one. If you're a more advanced English speaker, you should probably skip to level 2. Ready? Let's go. Look at the 5 sentences. Your job is to put the verb in brackets into the correct form. Pause the video and do it now. Ready? Here are the answers. So, what do you need to know here? These sentences are called first conditionals. They talk about things which could happen in the future. All conditional sentences have 2 parts. They have an if clause and a result clause. You need to know 3 basic things to make first conditional sentences. After if, use a present tense. Here, you use the present simple. Other present tenses are sometimes possible, but you can almost always use the present simple. Even though you're talking about the future, you generally can't use a future form after if. You use a present verb tense to talk about the future. In the result clause, meaning the other part of the sentence, use a future form. You can use different future forms, like will, going to, or the present continuous. You can change the order of the clauses. You can put the if clause at the start of the sentence, or you can start with the result clause, and the if clause goes afterwards. With these 3 points, you can make first conditional sentences to talk about things which might happen in the future. However, there are many other kinds of conditional sentence. Let's move on to level 2. Look at your sentences for level 2. Here, you have a different task. Some of these sentences are correct, but some are not. Your job is to find the mistakes and correct them. Pause the video and think about it. Take as much time as you need. Could you do it? Let's look together. Sentences 1 and 2 are correct. These are called zero conditionals. A zero conditional uses the present simple in both parts of the sentence. Use zero conditionals to talk about things which are generally true. Sentence 3 is incorrect, but 4 is correct. Can you explain why? Unless means if not. You can't use a negative verb after unless, because you can't have 2 negatives together in English. So, sentence 3 should be. Unless you have further questions, let's move on to the next point. Finally, sentence 5 is also incorrect. There are many words which behave similarly to if. Until is one such word. Others include as soon as, when, in case, and unless. Like with if, you can't generally use a future form after these words. Instead, you use a present verb, usually the present simple, to refer to the future. So, sentence 5 should be, I can't do any work until my computer is fixed. Did you get everything right? If so, great. If not, don't worry. Remember that you can always review a section if you need to. Here are your sentences. This time, you have to put both verbs into the correct form. Here's a tip. Not all the sentences follow the same pattern. Think carefully. For one verb, there are 2 possible answers. Pause the video and make your answers now. Done? Take a look. How did you do? Did you get them all right? If not, what do you need to study? These sentences are all second and third conditionals. Second and third conditionals are unreal conditionals. That means you use them to talk about imaginary situations, situations that didn't really happen or won't happen. For example, Look at sentence 2. If I were president, I'd send everyone a cake on their birthday. But I'm not president, and I'm not going to be. It's an unreal, imaginary situation. So, no cake for you. You use second conditionals to talk about unreal situations in the present or future. You use third conditionals to talk about unreal situations in the past. Look at the 5 sentences again. Which ones are second conditionals, and which are third conditionals? 1, 2, and 4 are second conditionals. They refer to the present or the future. 3 and 5 refer to the past, so they're third conditionals. If you find this difficult, start by reviewing second conditional sentences. Also, study the difference between real and unreal conditionals. Many languages don't make a difference between real and unreal situations like English does. If your language doesn't do this, then you'll need to pay extra attention to these unreal sentences when you're speaking English. When you feel that you understand second conditionals well, then learn and practice third conditionals. So is that it? Have we seen all the possible types of conditional sentences? Not quite yet. In level 4, let's do something a little different. Look at the sentences to begin. You have 2 jobs here. Are both verb forms possible or not? If not, which one is right? If both are possible, is there any difference in meaning? If so, what? Pause the video now. You know what to do. Okay, before we look at the answers, here's a clue. There's only one sentence where both verb forms are possible. If that's news to you, then feel free to pause again and take more time to think about it. Ready now? Let's check. Like in level 3, all these sentences are unreal conditionals. They're talking about things which didn't happen or won't happen in reality. But these are mixed conditionals. That means one part of the sentence is about the present or future, and the other part is about the past. For example, in sentence 2, the first clause, which is the result clause, is about the present, and the if clause is about the past. In sentence 3, the result clause is about the future, and the if clause is about the past. In sentence 1, both forms are possible. Sentence 1 can also be a third conditional, referring to the past. However, it can also be a mixed conditional, with the if clause referring to the present and the result clause referring to the past. Here's the question you probably want an answer to. What's the difference between using the 2 forms in sentence 1? Can you explain it? If you use wasn't and say, if she wasn't so shy, then you're referring to the present. This suggests that she's generally shy. This is part of her personality. If you say, if she hadn't been so shy, that she was shy then during her stay to the past, but maybe she's not shy all the time. This is a small difference, but it is a difference nonetheless. Another question. How do you know there's only one possibility for sentences 2 to 5? It's because all these sentences contain a time marker. For example, sentences 2 and 4 include the word now, so they must be about the present. Sentences 3 and 5 contain time markers which clearly refer to the past. So, what should you do if you found this difficult? First, review second and third conditionals and how to form them. If you have difficulties with the formation of second or third conditional sentences, then you'll struggle with mixed conditionals, too. Then, try to make some mixed conditional sentences about your life. Think of things you did or didn't do in the past, which could have made a difference to your life now. Or, think about your personality traits and how your past might have been different if you had a different personality. If you want extra practice, add your examples in the comments. Okay, there's one more section. Are you ready for the toughest challenge? Look at your level 5 sentences. Your job is to complete each sentence with one word. There's only one answer that makes sense, except for number 5, where there are at least 2 possible answers. Pause the video and find your answers. Could you do it? These sentences test some extremely specific grammar knowledge. Let's see the answers. So, can you explain what's happening here? Some of these sentences might look strange or wrong, but they're all correct. By the way, in sentence 5, would is, we think. The most likely answer, but will and could are also possible. In sentence 1, using the present perfect instead of the present simple means that this person has already taken their English exam but doesn't know the results yet. Usually in first conditional sentences, you might be able to use other present tenses, but you can always use the present simple. However, there's one case where you must use the present perfect. If you're talking about the future consequences of something which happened in the past, you need the present perfect after if. In this case, the event, the exam, is in the past, but the consequences, meaning the results, are in the future. Sentence 2 is a more formal or literary style. The more common pattern would be, if you had told us sooner. You can use this formal style if the first verb after if is had, should, or were. To form the sentence, you do 2 things. You omit if. You move the auxiliary verb, had, should, or were, before the subject. It's never necessary to use this pattern. You can always use a regular conditional with if instead. What about sentence 3? In second conditional sentences, if the verb after if describes an action, you can add work to before the verb. This emphasizes that the situation is very distant or unlikely. When you use this, you're saying, I really don't think this will happen. In this case, the interviewer is probably not very positive about this candidate. Again, you never need to use this structure. You could make a regular second conditional. If we decided to hire you. In sentence 4, what do you think is happening? You might be thinking, you can't use will after if in a conditional sentence. That's generally true, but this sentence isn't really a conditional. If here does not express a condition, it is similar in meaning to in case. You can understand the sentence as, you can take it because it might help you. So, the regular rules about first conditionals don't apply here, and you can and should use will after if. Sentence 5 might also look weird to some of you. Can you explain it? Why is there only one part? Don't conditionals need to have 2 parts? Like with number 4, this isn't a conditional. It's a formal way of making a request. The meaning is equivalent to, would you please follow me? Because it isn't a conditional, it doesn't need a result clause. You can just use an if clause by itself. Remember that this is a formal style, and you're not likely to hear it or use it often. Now, we have one final question for you. What topic from this lesson would you like to learn more about? Please let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.